Welcome to another thrilling and humbling episode of Energy Bites.
We got to do more prep work on our descriptors.
This is just kind of the LinkedIn version of our intro.
Yeah.
We're thrilled and humbled to be...
hey, ChatGPT didn't write this, though, so it's even better.
Very authentic.
M-dash. Thrilling. M-dash. Humbling.
But yeah, here with John Kalfayan, the rad dad.
How's it going, man?
Good, man. And here with Kayla Ball, the product manager, product officer extraordinaire from SensorUp. And super glad to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I love to show up and pass out my opinion with no repercussions.
it's wonderful. It's
anytime
so
I'm invited.
Yeah. Yeah, be careful. You might walk yourself into your own podcast.
Yeah. You might just accidentally start your own like we did.
So, I think, sometimes we start off with current events. And I think one of the big news stories over the last week or two is that, you got Devon and Petra merging with headquarters will now be in Houston. But also Expand Energy / Chesapeake announced that they are going to be headquartering in Houston as well. So that's two massive, Fortune 500 or whatever?
I think so.
Yeah, whatever companies that will be moving out of OKC. And I don't know how many more of those there were in OKC because even Continental's private now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. It's kind of, it's wild to think that 10 years ago, I was actively calling on multiple companies in Oklahoma City, including the two that were just mentioned. And now it's like, yeah. What's going to happen there?
Yeah. You could do like a full week.
Yeah.
In OKC.
Oh, absolutely. Now I'm like, even now, before the announcement, there's only a handful really, but it very much so feels like what I understand Tulsa was like back in the day. They had a bunch of offices up there and then slowly one by one, everybody consolidated and now there's no major operators in Tulsa and it's crazy.
I had a development team in Tulsa and then like a bunch of our sales guys were coming back from Oklahoma City to the Tulsa office. They somehow ended up in Kansas because this was
just kept driving.
in the printout MapQuest. I was just like, we should fire you guys. This is not that hard of a task.
Yeah, I feel like when you pull out of Oklahoma City, the major freeway, it says Tulsa.
There is one road to Tulsa. It is a toll road, but
I don't even know what that is. Is it I-30 or 40?
I remember. Yeah. It's a toll road. I do recall that.
Poor Oklahoma.
Nerve-wracking experience the first time I went up there in a rental car and was like, oh, did I get the toll tag?
No, but it doesn't seem like, again, and both of them say they're going to maintain a presence there, but you have the massive tower that's not even being fully utilized as it stands.
Now. Yeah.
There's no way. There's going to be less people there. And it's just, I feel like I remember when Concho and the Conoco thing happened, I think they had agreements that you have to maintain a presence in Midland because you don't want to totally destroy a city. When I walked around in OKC last year, I was actually working for Devon after Grayson Mill bought him, and it's like Devon's name is on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally. The ice skating rink it was wintertime, is Devon. You got Devon stuff at the Thunder game. That's if any of that really pulls away, that's going to crush that city.
Yeah. No, it's sad to think about from that aspect. Especially I just like the vibe of Oklahoma City when oil and gas is good. And when those companies were there was refreshing almost. Smaller city, younger crowd, generally pushing innovation. And so, I'm scared to what the corporate overlords end up doing with that. But
well, you guys have already grabbed a couple really talented folks in there, huh?
From that perspective, it's kind of awesome. Yeah. If you're looking to hire people, there's some pretty experienced people that are in Oklahoma City that would probably love to stay in Oklahoma City. But it's sad.
Yeah. No, it's hard to fathom, but I guess we need more people in Houston. There weren't enough people moving here as it was. So.
Our commutes are not long enough.
Right. We need more traffic on the Katy Freeway. It's only the widest stretch of road in the world, but it's jammed up already at 4 p.m. But right across from the Coterra office. But I digress. So Kayla, SensorUp, what the heck is it? What do you guys do?
Well, we don't make sensors. Okay. It's one of those classic names where I'm like, start. I don't know.
That's exactly what
I don't know what we were doing here. What are we came up with this. It was originally founded through a Department of Defense contract for like trackable wearable sensors, smart city type stuff. Yeah. And then, like all tech companies, they found their way into energy, did like a couple hard knock trials with TC and stuff. Okay. They're primarily based out of Calgary. But you can think of it as connecting to any remote sensor, any IoT in the field. And then we bring all of that data into the same place. It sounds like really lame when I say it, because that's what everyone says. Well, we're an energy data company and we bring it all into the same place. It's like, yeah, okay, well, that's what everyone does. It's called SQL Server.
The cloud. We take your data and we move it to the cloud.
But I think the way they handle real-time data is very interesting in terms of making it actually usable for people. I think there's a massive amount of data collection that's going on across the industry. It like gets, monumental day after day in terms of the volumes and just like new tech coming to market every day of, we used to not be able to do that. But how you handle the data, like our back end is kind of a bunch of different storage mechanisms. Like sometimes we use Duck Lake, sometimes we use a Postgres database, sometimes we're, using just S3 buckets for storage. And so it's really architected in terms of a bunch of utilities that can make that data usable for mostly like ops. We do a lot of reporting, voluntary methane, It's a pretty hard time to be in the methane space right now. That environmentalists are down bad. Let's just say that.
And it's one of those spots that a couple years ago with the IRA coming in, you're like, we're about to print money,
it was like so booming. All the tech bros were like, this is a problem. And like oil and gas needs transparency. Get it on the blockchain. It's like, is blockchain really the problem here? I don't know. Like kind of seems like the valves are just leaking and like someone needs to go fix it. To do with this. So it's been like a weird space for the last 5 years because we're definitely at the like trough of disillusionment in terms of you see a lot of companies like getting out of that space or being acquired for like $0 premium type stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of this stuff, I mean, it was either subsidized or people knew there was a problem. There was a lot of CYA, right? I was texting with a buddy who's a midstream guy at a major operator the other day, and it's just one of these companies, they did a trial and it didn't work. But I was like, but the problem, like, I don't think everyone rushed these technologies out because people needed it and they needed a CYA to say that, we're doing something.
Yeah, we don't want to pay a $50 million WEC fee.
Mm-hmm.
But now that people are like, this isn't as big a deal anymore. I'm not need to pay for this thing that doesn't even really work yet.
Well, and it's interesting to see the shift because it's definitely a compliance driven market.
Right,
like even regardless of what happens at the federal level, you see a lot of increased scrutiny from the states and like what New Mexico's doing, what Colorado's doing, Pennsylvania, all these kinds of things. But if you're in the tech world, you can't say the word compliance. People are like, hell no, you're not getting $1 of funding out of this. And then like dealing in the compliance space, very risk averse, very like low cost, almost like race to the bottom type of market. So you really got to play your cards right, how you try to scale and build for that particular segment.
For sure.
But being in it, I'm like, oh my God, this is so ripe for disruption. Like, please let us help you. I'm going to hold your hand while I show you how to use this mobile app.
So you guys connect to almost any sensor is what it sounds like. So what are some use cases? And I don't know if you can mention certain companies, if you have public use cases, but like what is a typical, everyone's got SCADA technically, right? But then there's other sources that out in the field that maybe aren't connected to SCADA yet. Or, I mean, just what's a typical workflow that you guys are facilitating in the oil and gas or energy space? I
mean, every company is its own special unicorn instance. The systems that they've deployed, like how they want to measure. There's a lot of measurement still required as part of the state regulatory environment. So you can think of like Bridger Photonics, aerial surveys. You can think of any of the continuous monitor devices that are still on site. You can also think of like venting, flaring, blowdown reports. You can think of OGI inspection tickets that are coming out of SAP, mechanical integrity type work. SCADA is an interesting one because that is also a hellscape. Like every time I encounter Pi or one of the interfaces, I'm like, how are these guys still making money? Like, what a shithole system of like no one can do anything with it. And so a lot of the use cases, like one of the use cases I'm pretty involved with right now is like, what is the optimal profile of a compressor blowdown?
Okay.
Like, what are the human things and the order and the timing around them to where you're not venting a load of gas into the environment every single time? And it's a really big problem. And there are only so many detection types and measurements that you can put on that thing before you're like, look, guys, do these things in this order, like bake it into the procedural plan. But in order to get that optimal profile and like even have that conversation with the ops teams, you're talking 6 different data sources. And like, okay, go find the Pi SCADA tags for this particular site. Good luck. Call me in 4 hours when you actually track them down.
No, that's exactly how that conversation started with the guy I was talking about, because he was asking me how we got SIGNET data into Snowflake at the previous stop. But now like they've got a historian in the middle, but the SCADA tags are crap. They've got a new SCADA manager and they're working on it to try to make those better. But again, it's only as good as the data that you're generating. And it's like, there's only so much you can do with it.
Well, and I'm also seeing a lot of new implementations around kind of like maintenance, equipment, inventory systems and stuff. I mean, people are still trying to figure out like, hey, we bought this site.
Yeah.
We didn't design it. We don't know what equipment's on location. We don't want to send a field crew out there right now to do it. What do we do?
Sure.
So it's always an adventure.
It will never cease to amaze me how many people in billion-dollar companies literally have no idea like what's where the data is or what is on location or
know what they have,
what mineral interests they own, what they've divested. Like there's so many, it goes across the departments. Like it's not one department.
You bring up interest. It's like literally this is what you're paying or getting paid on.
Right.
And
like
you can't search it really quickly in a database and give me the answer.
Wait for Collide.
Well, and at least like there's a lot of data that has a structure to it, right? Like I come from the IHS and Enverus world. Like you got data models and PPDM type stuff, governing bodies of how things are collected. It's the Wild West in the methane space. People are like, I don't like you're showing me this plume on a map. Like, I don't know how to read this. What are you telling me? What are you asking me to do? Well, right? And then it's like having the conversation of, okay, well, I know that it shows you that it's coming from the tanks, but that's actually as designed.
Right.
It's happening upstream. Like, where is it happening in the facility design upstream of that event occurring? And just having those conversations is
enlightening.
There are days where I drink more than my fair share.
Topo Chico.
Yeah.
It's one thing, a little slight pivot, but it always amazes me, like all these companies are out of Canada. Like the like electronics engineering and the sensors and all that. Like it's all in Canada.
If you've ever seen the books on any of these companies, you know that a Canadian resource is like 2 Canadians for 1 US employee. I worked for a company and they were basically like, we want to do business in the US. And I was like, cool. Well, you need to have people in the US if you're going to go be buddy with all the operators in Midland. And they just like couldn't stomach the cost. They were like, everything in the US is so expensive. I'm like, okay, well then cool. Keep flying down from Canada.
Money? Like, the money you're making is going to be a little more valuable too. Right?
I mean, also the rules are the same way. If we want to go work in Canada, it's like you have to have a Canadian and you have to have an office there.
But
I mean, I will say the Canadian government doles out way more money to software tech companies than like anything you'll find in the US. There's so much grant money floating around Canada on any given day.
Yeah.
And not like small stuff, like $3-4 million grants. And all you have to do is like write some papers to prove what you're doing.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Might be moving to Canada.
They're a lot more tech friendly. But have you seen the snow?
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
The winter is kind of a problem.
But I remember we were at RDS. I forget what the company was, but like we were doing competitor research and we found this company and we're like, please don't come down here. like they would have wiped the floor with us. All right. So, I mean, you bring up methane a lot. Are you guys focused on like the methane problem? Like, or is it just kind of whatever use cases come up like from your customers?
Yeah. So, it's kind of try to meet them where the need is. We have a variety of those use cases. I think I'm a little different in my regards to thinking because I'm like, methane, like it's really an ops problem. Can we just like talk to the ops teams?
Yeah.
Like this is all great, but in theory we should be engineering all these things out of the system and not having to do all these other things with it. And then the compliance stuff, it's paperwork.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mandatory.
The people part of it is always
the hardest.
You can't get away from it. I mean, and you never will. And
yeah, well, and I think that's the most interesting thing about like all the hype around the methane space. You had all these people kind of coming outside the industry.
You have no perspective on what actually goes on.
Well, it's just like no one ever wants to work on the root cause of the problem, right? Like you got to do flashy stuff. You got to attract investment dollars. I get it. You play the game, but like get out to the field, ride around in the truck with these guys and see what they're actually doing and how they do it.
Yeah.
And you'll have a better appreciation for like why things are the way they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's one of tech's biggest flubs when they come into the industry is they make all these assumptions of like, oh, well, if we can control the input of the data, then we can control the data and then it'll be clean and then everything will work perfectly. And
it's
like,
the mindset of like, what have you guys been doing? You're all idiots. And it's like, okay, cool. You take a look at this data.
Yeah.
Tell me what you can
go to
do
town.
with it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're that good, you should buy some oil leases,
right,
and go to town, like drill holes, 2 miles deep. And
well, and I think a lot of people lack an appreciation for kind of the risk of getting these things wrong inside these major organizations, right? And it's like, it's never just a one-time deployment, and then you're like, look,
it's perfect.
We're the preferred application, right? It's like, no, the units changed on this particular device and now we're going to try and use robot dogs and like, how do you bring that information in? And our unique ID turned out to not be a unique ID. So now we need to give you the real unique ID. Scout's honor, it is the unique ID, knowing like full well it's going to change 8 months from now again. So there's just a lot of like tentacles that go on inside the systems architecture of these companies that most people, like if you've never dealt with it or like suffered through it, you just really don't get it.
I think that's spot on.
As much as you can say, and I know you're not as maybe deep on the technical side of it, but like something you guys have maybe more a novel way or a kind of a well thought out way of like collecting all the sensor data in a way that like, because again, if you were just rewriting it every time, then someone's data model was different. Like you've got to be able to pivot or unpivot the data and put it in some unstructured format that you can query consistently, and it moves from company to company or use case to use case. So, I mean, it sounds like you guys have kind of figured out kind of a model that works.
I wouldn't say we've got it figured out.
Well, you're
figuring it out.
We're figuring it out with a high level of confidence on our ability to deliver.
Yeah.
I think the interesting thing is I try to standardize the way that data comes into the system. Like I like one front door, not 8.
Yeah.
So that when something does break, the forensics to figure out, what needs to be fixed along the way is a lot easier. And then there's this thin layer of business logic that you also have to incorporate in terms of the underlying foundational data. Like the DJ team is going to want to handle alerts differently than the Permian team.
Yeah.
They'll have different systems that you have to integrate with for work order management and things like that. So really spending a lot of time and energy on getting the business logic right is where most of the struggle comes from.
Gotcha.
I think you point out a perfect, like that example is a perfect case of this though, right? Where it's like the outside person would be like, they're all oil wells.
It's a work order.
Right. Yeah. Why does it matter? And it's like, it does. And that's like a Marcellus field development plan is very different than an Eagleford field development plan. And all the things required to build out the infrastructure are different. And like the people on the teams want to know different information about the well. Like everything about it generally is different once you get down to it.
Yeah.
Guess what? We have some really awesome software to integrate with also.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's like
it's going to take 8 weeks and maybe you'll get access to the read-only SQL requests that you put in.
Yeah. It's like any software RFP, they're like, must integrate with SAP. And I'm like, must be more specific on what type of integration you want with that bad boy.
This massive
and it's
suite and different.
It's like also having the appreciation for like, you're never going to be the end all be all app inside these companies.
Yeah.
So like, stop trying to convince them
1000%.
of that. Just like make their life easier.
Make it easy and do what you do well and you will be there.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, my biggest competition being in energy tech my entire career is always Microsoft Excel and Outlook. And then the occasional like paper and pad. Like we work with an operator up in the Marcellus and they're still doing all their field inspection stuff. I get it, right? Like they get a schedule, they print it out, they drive to the sites, they do the checks, they write everything down, and then they come back to the office and retype all of that field data entry stuff into Excel. And then they've got a person using the Excel and like merging it with all of the other Excels. And then that rolls up into a Power BI template. And I sit in these, implementation planning sessions and I'm like, oh, good God. This is really brutal on you guys.
You're really sick to my stomach.
Yeah. And you're going to have to like skip a lot of steps along the way to get to where they should be. Right?
Yeah. Well, and it's like a touchy thing, right? Because the perks of using software and doing implementations is like, some of these people are going to have to find other things to do.
Yeah.
It's coming for us all.
No, for sure.
Well, but
it's coming for us all.
I want to unpack this because this has been like we're doing AI stuff, we're building automations, and I'm convinced. Like I was worried about the whole job thing initially, but I'm more convinced now than I've ever been that these automations should have happened 10, 20 years ago. Like in most cases, right? Why the hell are we doing field data input into a paper form and then manually adding that to Excel and then adding it to another, then going into a database or wherever it ends up? It's like, to me, it's almost like a form of tech debt where it's like, because you didn't do this, you have now perpetuated this debt throughout the company for years or decades even.
Yeah.
And it's like, this should have been an efficiency that was gained when everything went digital and the internet came along. Like once I can check emails and have cell reception in most areas on my phone, there's ways to store it locally and then dump it to the cloud. Like there's solutions to all of the problems that they could potentially throw at that. And yet here we are in 2026, I've got Claude running all kinds of crazy shit on my laptop and billion-dollar companies are inputting their data in forms. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it follows a lot of like the hype of the industry, right? Like, I mean, my first product that I was in charge of, was Petra. Have you ever heard of Petra? Mm-hmm. Cold, dead hands user base, man.
Yeah, so that's how geologists got into product management.
I mean, I think I got into product management because I did like a bunch of geology. And then I was like, oh my God, I don't think I can do this every day. Like, what? I thought I was going to be climbing mountains and you're telling me I have to go sit at a desk to make money? Ugh. And like look at logs over and over and over
wear
again.
Sandals while you sit at your desk.
Well, I mean, truth be told, my dad's like business development guy at his small operating company was like an ex-McKinsey partner with the CEO of a tech company. Okay. He was like, send him your resume. They're hiring a salesperson. And that's how I kind of like got in. I did sales, but then went on maternity leave. And these two product managers took me to lunch and they were like, hey, so we just got bought by IHS. You're not going to want to be in sales for long. And I was like, you're right. I can't handle the pressure. I got to get out of the kitchen. They're like, product management's so cushy. Like, you don't have a quota, less travel, lies.
Right.
Lies. Yeah. Oh, here's a $40 million portfolio. in the midst of the worst software release of all time, like taking a flat file application and trying to force it on the database. And I knew I was screwed day one because I had to Google the name of the database that they were using. I was like, this is not going to go well.
That's incredible.
Like at the time we had like 250 active users at Devon, right? It's like, guys, we cannot double reserves.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's not make that happen.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. It was a baptism by fire. But kind of like set the course of my career of
Sure.
I've always been brought in to clean up something.
Yeah.
I've never like built from scratch on anything. And so there's this like mentality that I have around like all these net new things, right? But no one ever really wants to see it all the way through.
Yeah.
Like, and again, these compliance teams, no one wants to mess with their compliance programs, right? Like very risk averse. We know that it's like not functioning well, but whatever, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Checking the boxes.
Don't include them in the meetings. Like just keep them where they are. Right. Yeah. I mean, 7 years ago, I was working on like well spacing and completion design and like remaining inventory calcs, like the sexy stuff,
Sure, yeah.
right? Where it's like all the bankers want to know. Yeah. No one was talking about methane. No one was talking about compliance. And so I think it's just like a matter of attention in these companies where they're like, oh, let's put the capital on these things where we can extend our runway, figure out who we need to buy up and when and at what premium or discount. Mm-hmm. And then like the compliance teams will be fine.
Just keep them in the back.
Keep them in the back closet.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the name of that database, by the way? I'm very curious.
It was called Elevate DB.
Oh, man.
Awesome. Never heard of it.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Incredible.
And of course, I'm like, new to the game, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm the only one under the age of 40 on that entire team. I'm also the only female. I'm coming into like a hardcore portion of the business.
Yeah.
And like behind the scenes, they're like, yeah, we got to get all this revenue on a code base that actually has some legs behind it, right? Like my developers were like these guys that only wanted to work till noon because they wanted to go play golf together. So it's like, well, what do we do, guys?
Yeah.
And basically the decision was, okay, we're going to take all of this stuff that people are super diehard about in Petra, and we're going to put it on the new app, which was the app that I came from at the time. And it took about 18 months to replicate all of like the favorite features.
All right.
Isn't even like Petra's still on like a lot of flat files and
oh yeah, man, it's still kicking. Like I see posts on LinkedIn and I kind of almost get like nostalgic. I'm like, shit, people are still using this bad boy.
No,
rock on.
I think one of my clients has it, but even like Kingdom has some flat file aspect to it also.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much of this industry still runs on software that was built 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, man. Like when I was working on Kingdom, we were trying to figure out, like Microsoft had announced they were going to end of life access database. We're like, oh shit, we got to get everything on SQL Server, and finally, like you knew you were hot shit in the company at the time if you got like one of the thumb drives that had like, 500 gigs worth of storage on it because we were trying to like move all these massive seismic volumes around for people.
Dang.
It was wild times.
That's crazy.
So speaking of databases that a lot of people probably haven't heard of, you brought up Duck Lake.
Yeah.
I know that's been a pretty new thing in the last, 6 months, maybe a year. But sounds like you guys are utilizing that. I mean, I've heard really cool things about it, but
yeah.
I don't know how much you've gotten into
before we.
So it's like DuckDB, but it basically creates like a data lake, and it can create like a local one like on your laptop. But I think a lot of these other things, like I think Parquet and stuff, they had like metadata and stuff, but it was baked into like the Parquet files. But like I think Duck Lake is a file format, but then they utilize a database to hold the catalog side of it. Like, so I think it uses Postgres, or it can also use DuckDB for the catalog part, but it kind of separates those. But you can create like your own like
that's sick
data lake.
But
you can do it on top of S3, like any compliant file system.
That's awesome. The Duck
And you could spin it up. You could go probably get Claude to spin you one up when you walk out of here, and it'd probably do it in like 5 minutes.
No, the duck ecosystem is growing to be one of
well, they've hit
favorites.
It just perfectly with all the AI stuff because now
Absolutely.
you can embed DuckDB. Well, that's the whole point. You can embed it anywhere, but now you can just run all this shit everywhere.
Yeah, we use it primarily because we do a lot of calcs on some underlying data that we don't necessarily like need in a normal storage mechanism. And we do a lot of versioning of those calcs. So like this is the 2024 instance, this is 2025, that kind of stuff. But it's definitely been, I wouldn't say like a fight, but trying to condition the developers to not just architect everything from scratch and just like license where we can.
Sure.
We use a lot of licensed components in our system to where we try to get as much out of the box without custom development on it. Like we've got Workato plugged in to handle a lot of business logic. It's an impressive tool. We're using Dagster on a lot of our data pipelines. Duck Lake, we've got some Postgres. And then we've got, this kind of like Frankenstein project off to the side where we're like, how high can we get these vibes to recode the entire app using Claude Code?
Yeah,
absolutely do it.
And it's one of those things where some days I feel personally victimized by Claude Code because I still have to consider commercial deployment, like inside of these super large organizations with SOC 2 data governance and stuff like that. And then, my biggest question to the team right now is, but from the product side, we're like building armies of robots. We love it.
Yeah.
We did a lot of lovable prototyping early on, but it kind of got to the place where we were like running out of tokens all the time. And then I don't know if you've used any of these models to where you get to the point where you're so frustrated where you're like, start over. Like you have fucked this up.
/clear.
Beyond recognition.
Yes. Yeah.
And so then we were like, okay, well, let's just like spin up our own Claude type stuff. We have Fireflies plugged in as our note taker on a lot of our customer calls. We're doing a ton of virtual customer discovery. So we take the Fireflies and feed it into Claude Code. We can do like from scoping documents all the way through to creating linear tickets and assigning them into the team backlogs.
It's so wonderful.
It's wonderful.
Is it weird from a product perspective though? This is a question I've got because historically speaking, that was the part of the product's person's job or the product manager's job to, take everything from the client, PRD, get it into Jira, break it down, Figmas. All that stuff. Yeah. But now, like these workflows, we have a very similar one. We use Granola, but it's the same concept. You record all the meetings, the transcript goes into Claude. Claude creates a bunch of different things out of that transcript, one of them being a PRD, tickets. It can go into Jira or Linear directly, and everything is just kind of, it's not automated per se, but it took a lot of that. I mean, that was one of those things that, it was like a necessary evil for every single project. And the more you do those, the more you hate doing them, at least in my experience. Yeah. And so with this, it's so seamless, but it creates great, or even like, it doesn't even have to go into a Jira ticket. You can just give it right to Claude and be like, here you go.
Yeah.
Build my plan.
Yeah. I think, okay, this is triggering a rant. So buckle up.
I'm ready.
So like any good product manager hates all of that bullshit. Mm-hmm. Like PRD. And I've worked in public matrix organizations and like scrappy startups, like 3 guys coded up. So you can just whiteboard whatever you want all day. But like any person who's really good at product wants to spend most of their time with the customer, doing a ton of critical thinking, understanding the end-to-end, mapping out all of the different systems and components and tasks, not just like what that person's complaining about on that particular day. And so I've seen it free up a ton of time to do more customer discovery, more critical thinking.
Yeah. Well, you can get,
but it's only as good as
faster. You can show that. Like, I think that part of it to me is really, really nice because there's always the disconnect when you're doing a traditional dev project between what the client actually sees in their mind and what ends up being delivered to them the first, second, or third time. And so being able to get to that, be like, oh, hey, an hour later, here's your your Figma prototype. Is this what you were thinking about? No, you wanted the buttons here. Okay, no problem. Like, and it's done. And then there is no ambiguity when upon delivery or testing, and they're like, oh, well, this isn't how I wanted it at all. And you're like, shit, how many times has that happened in, across so many dev projects? But
yeah, I mean, you can definitely run a leaner team.
Yeah.
It's a weird, very weird hybrid of product and design and kind of like solutions architect-y type stuff. My personal opinion is like those things are only as good as the person creating them. Yeah. And so my general observation is it can really take you down like the groupthink rabbit hole of like AI slop delivery of like I watch people and it's almost like they listen to 10% of what that person is saying and then they're already solutioning in their mind. They're like, oh, this is what this guy wants. I'm going to vibe code it up. And if they had just taken the time to really understand what the user was trying to do and also figuring out like, okay, well, you can't radically change the way people behave overnight, but how do you like incrementally do that to get to the radical change point? There's still a lot of, I'm like, no guys, like this is still just off. Like it's almost like overcomplicated for what these guys are asking for, tone it back down. And so there's a lot of like iterative stuff. But hands down, like the documentation. And I've always had a hot take on PRDs too, where I'm like, who's reading this?
Yeah. That
like,
is
literally
always,
who's reading
it's like
this?
You spend so much effing time doing the mock-ups. And then it's like, they're like, okay.
Yeah.
And then they still deliver something that's not even in the damn mock-up. And you're like, well, why did I do any of this?
Well,
what was the point?
It's so easy to fall in love with your own solution and your own designs. And like, I see a lot of behavior like trying to talk users into why something is great.
Right.
So definitely like the intake, using Claude Code to also ask the questions that you maybe didn't ask in the situation.
It's a great counterparty.
It's a great tool.
Yeah.
It should not be used as a crutch for deep product management expertise though.
No, you still have to be on the call, talking and navigating the client through it so you can get it into the transcript at best, or at worst, I guess is what I was trying to say. But no, I think one of the interesting things one of our devs has started talking about, but because the cost of code is effectively gone to zero, like we have an FDE model, right? Where we're out basically building pilots and prototyping and doing all the discovery directly with the clients. And, then the question comes, okay, well, what are we handing over to the devs when we go to productize this? And he's like, you're handing us patterns. That's literally because like the code, the language the code is in even now doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like
you did this in Python and I'm going to convert it to Rust.
Like it's crazy. I mean, we just migrated our front end in 2.5 weeks from Ruby to React.
Yeah.
And it's like, that would have been months prior to any time in history.
Yeah.
And so it's very hard though to like get into that abstracted layer of like, this is all just patterns and logic at the end of it.
Well, and like, what are the end users willing to absorb, right? Because it's like, it's one thing to make software. It's another thing to make money on software.
Yeah.
And if you look at kind of like the size and makeup of the industry, like you got to go up into super major territory eventually. And so one of the big things that I'm thinking through right now is, and I always have to preface every call that I'm on, I'm like, I'm not against the vibe coding. Vibes are high with me. I love it, you guys. But also like, how does this integrate with the existing legacy code? And what are we actually passing to the developers and what are they going to do with it? And how do you make this thing scalable in 5 years? And then the questions start, do you have to make it scalable for 5 years?
Right.
Do you just rewrite that thing every month? are you really building for humans as your end users, or are you building for no human intervention?
Mm-hmm.
That's like what really scares me about like the existential, like, what does it all mean? Why am I doing this job? It's like...
We had the conversation last night. I was like, do you ever feel like you're working for Claude Code now, where it's like, it's just asking you questions and you're just hitting enter and you're like, no, actually. And then you're like, wait a minute, it's got all this reinforcement learning under the hood. I'm literally just training myself out of
I definitely like feel the fatigue of reading through the outputs and like trying to figure out like how far off are we on this version of what we're doing. And then I really just don't know what the industry appetite for some of this is going to be.
I'm literally writing a blog right now about
you are Claude Code writing it.
I am assisted because, as we all know, I'm a great English linguist. As a mechanical engineer. My high school English class is still sticking real strong. It's the last time I took an English class, but what was I saying?
Blog you're writing, sorry.
Oh yeah. So it's basically like, hey, CTO, IT, C-suite, like this is here today, and you probably have no concept of what it's even capable of right now. And y'all aren't even looking at it. Like it's here, and it's kind of terrifying to think that none of them are really like super prepared for this, or like the deepest they're giving people is like, oh well, we'll give some cursor licenses to some engineers and let them play with some stuff. But they're not like, can you imagine if Exxon was just like, hey, everyone has Claude Code now, solve your own problems? It'd be a lot of slop, but there would be a lot of crazy shit that would come out of that.
Because the people that understand the problem,
that's the point, right?
The ones developing the
you no longer
solution.
have to understand the minutia of, well, this service has these, requirements and dependency. Like it does it. It knows, like it can find out. And so it's just the future is crazy to think about.
It can create tech debt, but also erase it. Like
our refactor has better, cleaner code than our original app did. Because it had been through multiple iterations of development and stuff. And it's like, now we're starting off fresh. It got rid of a bunch of dead code. The app itself is better. We're now enabled to use even more tools that our users can end up using because of it. It's crazy. And before it was limited to like, Python and maybe Java and some of the more popular. I saw something earlier this week where they rewrote Fortran to Rust. I'm like, how does it even know Fortran? Like, there's not enough data on the internet about Fortran for it to know.
There's Fortran and Git. I mean, like, and there's
but it's comparatively from a data set perspective, like much, much, much smaller percentage.
But it's loops, and again, it's patterns. So
it's learning,
even if it didn't have that much, it can look at it. Oh, that's a for loop. That's a while loop. This does X, Y, Z, and convert it to Rust. Find the equivalent.
It's finding patterns. Like it's really what it is. It's kind of crazy.
It's definitely like some days I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because half my day I'm like, oh shit, this is amazing. Like think of all of the innovation that could happen just by unleashing this today. And then the other 50%, I'm like with the operators doing freaking unique ID. Remapping between systems. I'm like,
I mean,
how do I help shepherd this through?
Your WellView data behind the scenes is not complete, so I can't really do anything with it.
And that's my thing, is it's like, if you're going to survive in the energy industry, especially with, uncertainty around pricing and lower pricing, we've squeezed damn near every drop out of the operational efficiency fruit over the last 10 years. I'm very convinced, right? Like when I started in the industry, it took a month to drill a well. That's crazy nowadays, right? And so like, but the only remaining thing is your costs as a company. And so how do we drive those costs down? We automate a bunch of this stuff. We enable people to solve their own problem. We get IT out of the fucking way. Like there's so much, but I think there's if I had to like predict, you're gonna see a bunch of companies that end up getting bought or fail because they didn't adopt and they can't compete.
Yeah. Oh, we just did a funding round in like no less than a full day on what's your AI strategy? What components are you using today? Is this your tech stack that you're sticking with? What do you think you're going to rip and replace? What do you think you're going to write net new with? Like, what's your take on your experience with the engineers inside these companies and like their ability to do these things? Because I'm seeing like quite the generation gap of, first of all, like, are there new people coming into oil and gas graduating from college?
Right.
It seems like slim pickings.
But I think that's the big thing with even some of this AI stuff. And I think Chuck talked to some folks, probably I think up at one of the companies in OKC about it. But like with the AI is going to like kind of take away some of these entry level type things. And like, are you actually going to be able to get these people in the door, or where do you get them in the door? And you should be prioritizing getting talent in the door. Yeah. Yeah. Because you could easily overlook these folks and then like get 10 years in, like, wow, we don't have anyone. Yeah. It's even worse than the crew change that we had.
Right.
Well, and it reminds me a lot of like the data science hype curve that came in of like,
100%.
If you're not doing big data and data science, okay, well, like none of those people were like paired with anyone who knew anything about like how this industry actually runs.
Yeah.
And so they would come up with all these things. There was like a mentor that I had. He was like, the data will confess if you torture it enough. Like run those models enough times and you're going to get the result that you want out of them. But, you know, how do you know from Billy Bob, who's, you know, been on 5 workover rigs and can tell you how the data is collected and all that kind of stuff? Like those people are not getting paired with a data scientist.
No. I remember like, I'm going to butcher the story, but essentially like some data scientists came in and like found a really strong correlation between the API number and the wells production. You know, I was like, because he didn't.
So was it almost linear? Math jokes. Stay tuned, people. There's more exciting stuff to come.
But like, so like, I mean, people come in like, or I mean, I've seen it. I think my wife said they had a data scientist come in to do some stuff, or someone for the Astros, and I was like, but he found these really obvious correlations. Like, well, yeah, we already knew that. Like, this person has no idea about context around baseball or context around oil and gas, and it's like, yeah, you can find correlations, but are they meaningful?
Right. It's not the obvious ones we're looking for in most cases.
Yeah. Like we're looking at the ability, which is vibe coded right now, which has really great results so far. Like the results change the more data that you feed it. But we basically took like an entire snapshot of all of the data that we have in our system, anonymized it, and then vibe coded an app to basically auto load, like map the raw fields into the correct data tables with no human intervention whatsoever. And so like those are the types of things that I'm interested in working on because I don't know if it's just my background, but I'm like, it's always a data problem in this business.
At the root of it, the problem comes from a human having to enter a piece of data into a unstructured or unorganized field in WellView that is now different than another field in WellView for a different asset. Yeah. Now everyone's dealing with different data sets and different nomenclatures. And like there is no reason that humans should be entering data into anything today. Yeah. Like hard stop, in my opinion. Like there is none. Maybe have a human in the loop reviewing the extraction from the AI before it dumps it into WellView. But like, that's what computers were made for, repetitive tasks that humans suck at. And like, that's a really good one. Yeah. And that's the foundation of all of the rest of your data and your operations that are built off of that. So you want good data in there. Like,
well, because like the real secret sauce comes from contextualizing it. Yeah. Like one of our most common workflows right now is, okay, you've got a bunch of satellites, you got a bunch of aerial surveys that you're paying for. Those intrinsically find things. Okay, well then that triggers a review from someone at the desktop app that needs to assign a work order for someone in the field team to go do an investigation. Even that field person using our mobile app instead of writing those things down, like all of these things are just built into these mobile apps. Like you have talk to text. You can open the camera and take a picture of like, which angle are you looking at this engine from? Because it's like that level of things that people are trying to understand. Of like, okay, but if you had walked around and looked at it from the other side, you would have seen something different. But then how does that work order that gets filed in SAP trigger a status update back into our app so that the person reviewing the desktop can, I mean, even listening to myself, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, this sucks.
Yeah. No,
Nothing about this is great, but it's better than they were doing it last month. And there's just there's so much logic. I'm really interested in how we can code up some of these things to act as little microservices on the mothership platform, but be able to set the logic of detection comes in, it's over a certain threshold, it references the last inspection date in SAP, it auto closes it for you because they were just out there 10 days ago.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
we should be able to do that.
Well, that's the thing. I think you can do that. I think the other part of this is the human element, right? Is it's like we have a bunch of regulatory stuff that we've done where there does not have to be a human in that loop at all anymore.
Yeah.
But they want to be in the loop.
Yeah.
And I think that should be expected for anybody today, especially in our industry. We're so bad at adopting technology. But there's going to be I don't know how long it's going to be. Is it 6 months or 6 years? I don't know. But there will be a time period, adjustment period, so to speak, for the users to have to get comfortable with it before we can fully automate these things.
Yeah.
Because they don't trust black boxes.
Well, and even like 2 months ago, I was, part of this implementation plan, and like one of the field guys is like, well, we're not taking cell phones on a live site. And I was like, well, your other field guys are. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not going to blow up, my guy.
And they have intrinsically safe phones now too.
Yep.
Yeah. And a lot of it's just like, IT's like, well, we're trying to catch up with the rollout, and like, you'll have your device and it's going to be approved and all this kind of stuff. And then it's like, well, what devices are they getting? Android, because it's the cheapest. Mm-hmm. What's the shittiest device to develop a mobile app for? Android. Mm-hmm. So it's just things like that where.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and
got to meet them where they are.
We bought an intrinsically safe smartphone device thing, and I was very impressed by the specs. Not nearly as impressed by the user experience. Not to the company, but just like Android on this robust, ridiculous phone. It's like typing on it. Yeah. If you had gloves on, there's not a chance in hell you're typing on that thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, we have speech to text. Why are we even typing anything?
Yeah.
But then it's like nobody has. I think Apple at some point, I think I saw that they were kind of working on this, but you basically need like an MCP server for the OS so that I can tell the phone, hey, open this app or open my camera and let me take you need to make it so you don't have to touch the screen at all.
Yeah.
But today I don't think that's really possible, at least navigating across apps and into different stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and even like in the most simplistic form, right? Like we've got the GPS geolocation of the phone at the time of inspection.
Right.
So we can very easily show the walking path of how that person went through the facility on their inspection routine. Do most guys do the inspection routine walking around with the app? No. They're writing it down, and then they're going back across the street to their truck where it's warm and entering all that information in. So then once they enter it in, okay, well, you have the wrong geolocation for all the inspection information because you weren't actively carrying the device with you. So it's so much human behavior that goes into it as well.
Yeah. When you were talking about that use case earlier where it's all the hand enter it, put it in Excel, go back and all these things. And I mean, I think we all agree, like, I think we always say, oh, well, you won't lose your job. You'll just be able to focus on the part of your job you should be focusing on. But I think there's a lot of people who don't want to. Like, I mean, like you could say, hey, now this frees you up to do the things you're supposed to do, but do they want to do that?
Well, I mean, we've also heard the flip side. It's like, I pay them a salary. They should just do it.
Yeah.
Why should I automate it when I pay them to do that? It's like,
the point is that you don't have to.
Okay, I guess.
Well, and like all the other things that they're doing, right? Like I commonly will work with field teams, and again, coming in through the methane space without the operations lens, you're like, it shouldn't be that hard. These are just inspections. okay, well, they're not just doing the OGI. They're also doing mechanical integrity testing. They're also doing safety reporting, all these other things that like no one necessarily cares to ask about because they're not writing an app for it to make money off of it. But, you know, I kind of feel for these guys in South Texas. I was riding around with my dad delivering royalty checks and stuff back in the day. Like that's how I spent my summers. And so the remote aspect of it and like even figuring out where you are and like what needs to be done kind of still sucks.
I mean, that's the thing though. Like I liken the oil field to manufacturing where you take the plant and you take it and you move it to the most remote, desolate, infrastructure lacking place in the country, and then a week later you move it to another place, and it's just constantly moving, but with none of the good things, the power, the internet, all of the comforts of SCADA
and all those things are amazing on plants where
way better on a plant
and, you know,
with the hard-lined internet.
I mean, literally a plant is, I mean, that is an engineer, like it is constrained. We know how the fluid's going to flow, that we can control temperature and all these things. Like
that's as a mechanical engineer, that's exactly how they should operate because that's what they were designed to do.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes. Yeah. You can control all the conditions and all the variables. And so it's very easy to do in that situation, right?
Famous last words for anyone in tech. This should be simple.
Oh yeah. That's easy. All it is an API, right?
So before we get in the speed round, I mean, I know you did your time at both IHS and Enverus.
Yeah.
Any hot takes on the public data space or any of that?
Yeah,
or
dude,
Blackstone buying.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Do you think that public data will be a moat much longer for the oil and gas industry?
No.
Yeah.
And like even when I think back to the decision to leave IHS and go to what was RS Energy Group at the time before we got sold to Genstar. I just kept, you know, interviewing with the RS guys, and I never saw the product. I never saw anything. And eventually, like, so much of my market share was eaten up by them that I was like, all right, sounds like I got a lifeboat pulling up that I got to maybe jump into. And when I got there, I was just amazed because it was all the same underlying regulatory shit.
Yeah.
But they had an entire analyst team that was generating derivative information and like eating their own dog food. So the completions data was getting cleaned up by the analysts.
Okay, yeah.
The lateral links were getting corrected by the analysts. Like we were generating NPVs and IRRs and like all the things that people wanted to associate to the data to make it even remotely useful. And IHS was kind of under this mindset of like, try it. We dare you. You know, like, do you know how hard this public data collection and standardization is? Like, even when I was trying to get lateral length as a field in the data tables, it was like an act of God to make any changes because it's such a huge, like, underlying data model, hard-coded data logic, database. And I mean, it's a space that I really love to pay attention to right now because if I was still there, I'd be really worried. But I think that's why you see a lot of we're in the power markets, we're talking about grids, we're talking about energy demand and stuff like that.
Power is very sexy right now.
Like, Manouche's not an idiot. Like, that place has got a strategy of how they're going to differentiate. And I saw it play out at IHS too. Like when my original startup got acquired by IHS at the time, it was just an energy data company. They started taking those revenues that were like 97% profit margin and buying things like Carfax and like automotive, maritime, all these other spaces outside of just the pure energy data but anyone can write a web scraper.
Yeah.
I remember like
it's
never
been easier to scrape a website
I mean, like
than today.
Now I need to read EBCDIC. Claude Code, read this EBCDIC.
Yeah.
But even like back in the day, everyone was fighting over like who had the better production allocation algorithm, right? It's like
now if Texas would just go to well level production. Just get
Well, but if they did that, does that just royally fuck all the prior data too? Like all the allocated data?
well, I mean,
No.
Do your data models just get updated?
I mean,
it would have to be
IHS did it
point
like
forward. I mean, no company's going to go
Right,
back and
right.
you
But
know,
I'm just saying
Yeah.
from a data perspective, you've already got the data in with its allocation. I guess it's just
well,
it would
IHS
be the
and
same.
Enverus both had like snapshots in the data. Like IHS had like a pre 1993 data set where they were treating vertical wells a certain way, and Enverus had like a pre 2001 data set where they were treating the production data a certain way. I mean, what a time to be alive in energy tech.
I mean, we have regulatory automation where it deploys a browser agent. It goes to the
this agency,
the regulatory website. It fills out fields. It goes and finds the well page. It takes a screenshot of that. Don't ask me why said regulatory agency requires a screenshot of their own website to prove that the stripper well application that you're submitting is accurate. That makes no sense to me, but nonetheless, an agent does all of it. It's crazy. It's crazy to watch an agent navigate the internet.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes. It's pretty crazy.
Well, and like a lot of the internal IT teams, like I see some AI teams and some like AWS AI, freebie budgets coming in and stuff, but like no one seems to be working on the data problem.
No. They've been working on that since the big data analytics trend.
Yeah.
When they were like, oh, this won't work until we have good data.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, Bobby's here.
Yeah.
Bobby's saving the day on the data side.
Yeah, I went from building out, data warehouses to I'm making your data AI ready. It's a lot of fundamentals hadn't really changed that much. But you got to have consistent pipelines and data checks and
there's so much like AI that we could be doing, right? I get questions from my board all the time of like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, yeah, but all of the data that we need in order to train some of these data sets is still a mess. Like I have this really weird vendetta out for all of the SCADA systems right now. I'm just like, let's burn it to the ground.
No, I mean,
surely there is a better way we could be handling this information.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, they were only architected like 30 years ago, so surely nothing has come along in the last 30 years that would make it easier.
I know. Every time I have to log into Pi, I'm like, all right, better put the eye drops in to stop this bleeding.
That's literally why. I mean, Devon wrote their own software that they've sent to market. They kind of teamed up with a company to help sell it, but like they built their own. It's called Leaf Cutter, and it moves data from Pi into Snowflake. But it goes from Signet to Pi to Snowflake.
Well, and that's the hardest part of all of the mess under the hood is I would say 80% of like an engineer's time is still mostly on data forensics of like, why does this number look off?
Right.
Where did it get off in the process? What app messed up what calculation?
Yeah.
And
why is there not stuff running that's running some of these?
No, that's one of my favorite things to do with Claude Code on these data sets that I'm pulling out of post-job reports and other garbage public data like that. But it's like, okay, hey, if the average value in this column is 60 and the max, then you have 3 max values that are 2000, maybe those are outliers. Let's have that check. Like it's very easy to
standard deviation checks.
Yeah, it's very easy to get it. I mean, even now it's starting to tell me. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, here were 3 rows that had timestamps instead of numeric data in them. I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't have to go manually find that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
it saves me so much time.
I mean, I don't think it's unique to this, but like the company Paradigm, I think I did hosted a dinner with them before, but they have like a really cool editor for DBT. But like they have like their own little cursor for data kind of thing. But like I could literally ask it, hey, write me a test that identifies fields like values in this column that are more than 1 or 2 standard deviations off, and it would just do it, and it would probably be right, or I might have to tweak it. But in like 30 seconds, I would have something in place that was better than what I had before. Like
Well, and like one of the things that I'm starting to work on right now, slowly but surely, is like most of these field inspections where you actually do see the component that is leaking, that's all hand typed. So it's like, oh, 1/2-inch pipe, valve,
just
block
strings
3,
of numbers
whatever.
and abbreviations.
That's all coming into the system, and someone at the desk is sitting there and saying, okay, well, we're going to like merge these 3 volumes of methane and we're going to quantify it as valve, right? Because they're just starting the tagging to try to get to like a root cause analysis of like, is it the pneumatics? Probably not. Right. Is it the tank hatch? What version of tank hatch are we using? Yeah. Like, should we rip and replace it? I don't know. No one can answer these questions.
Do they even have that data updated in the system?
No. Doubtful.
No. All right, jump in the speed round.
Yeah, this has been great. What is before we do that, what's a hot take on Enverus that you might have now that they've been bought by, who is it?
Blackstone. Not Blackstone Grills.
I mean, that would have been a much cooler acquisition, but I think it's a little out of their league.
Yeah, when IHS bought Carfax, we didn't get free Carfax or anything.
Oh, sure.
We didn't even change the logo to the Carfax. I was like, let's rebrand.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm interested to see what happens with the public data space. I still have a deep amount of respect for Manoj and the analyst team. I just think they like get the hard press questions from a lot of these executives and a lot of the investment bankers. And so they're just kind of always a step or two ahead. I do think they're entering into a growth phase similar to what I experienced at IHS, where it's like you can only do so much organic growth, right, and then you have to start growing through acquisition, and you better differentiate the portfolio outside of energy. So it'll be interesting to see, where that lands. But when I was at University of Texas, I still used all the Enverus products. And so I would text Manoj like, why did you change the well filter list in Prism? What do you want me to come to your house and murder you? Like, change it back.
What have you done?
He's like, most people love it. I'm like, well, most people are friggin' idiots and they're not using this thing right. Switch it back.
We didn't get to ask you about the University of Texas thing.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting company. I will be interested to see like what the growth profile actually looks like over time.
What's your hot take on just public data in the industry in general? Like, how do you see that evolving in the future? Is that become a zero cost thing almost because it is public?
I mean,
because it should have been that way from the beginning.
Here's the hot take of like soul searching when you're working at these companies. You're like, do I agree with this business model? We're essentially taking self-reported data by these companies. We're cleaning it up and then selling it back to them. Like, make it make sense. Yeah. How does this continue to be a revenue stream for forever?
A screenshot of your own website for a permit that you're filing.
I think, like Enverus specifically, I mean, I think IHS has been a laggard for sure on a lot of the stuff. And I think if they ever get rid of Kingdom and Petra, they'll just implode because the only reason people have the data subscription is because they have the nice
integration.
Oh, I had to do the direct connect into Kingdom, and it was like one of the worst projects I've ever had to be on. It was like speaking a different language to a data company, because Petra was like a means to deliver the data, right?
Sure.
Kingdom was like a huge acquisition for them. They paid $500 million for us. And they were like, what do? We got to pipe that shit through Kingdom. And then, but inside Kingdom, we were a large enough team where we were like, hey, you've got a lot of issues with this data. Like, it's kind of unusable the way we're bringing it in.
Sure. And
I was kind of like, nah, figure it out.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think on the other side, Enverus, I mean, I think to your point, they probably have that a little bit of a moat with just the expertise and on the analyst side, but then we're totally omitting the open invoice, GibLink, EnergyLink, monster underneath the hood.
Don't get me started on that shit too.
That they're doing some aggregations and stuff with behind the scenes that they can at least at a high level provide people like trends and stuff on like mid cap Bakken operators. Here's what they're spending on DNC, XYZ,
Well, yeah, any monopoly can give you a good insight.
But I'm saying like that's where their advantage is, like
and
relative to the Emerald database or someone else. Is like it's more than just a way to get your public production data.
And those are the tough calls, right? Because you get to a certain size where like you literally can't innovate because you have so much existing revenue that you have to maintain and protect. And like if you churn one, there's not necessarily 100 new logos that you can go collect from these days. And I mean, that's the balance that I have to figure out with my teams too of, okay, it's innovate or die and you need to embrace it. But like, how do we do it in a realistic way to where we don't like implode the internal architectures of our customers along the way?
Devon plus Coterra doesn't equal like 2x revenue for one company.
No, that's a bad, this is like a bet. Any like hot M&A market is a bad time to be a data company because
it's like 1 + 1 =
the
1
companies are
1/4
very
or
much like, so like we're not going to pay this one anymore because we own them. And we used to do like per seat licensing on the Kingdom and Petra side too. And that was, I mean, you can watch 70% of your revenue disappear overnight in a downturn.
Yeah.
It's like, well, where did all the users go? I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
They became teachers.
Yeah. I did the opposite. I was a teacher and then got in and held on for dear life.
What did you teach?
High school math and coached.
God bless the teachers. The Lord's work.
Yeah, my parents, my in-laws, all teachers. And then it's like, someone gave me an opportunity. I got to give this a shot at least. You can always go back to that.
Yeah. I wanted to be a teacher, like going into college, but then I was like, oh, I'm made for a soft lifestyle. I am not made for this grind.
Not made for the streets.
I think I'll dabble with the rocks. That seems like a
rocks don't hit back.
fun course to do.
Kayla's in dangerous minds too.
Yeah. Oh man, that's no. My wife was also a teacher, so shout out to all the teachers.
No, it's not for the faint of heart. No, yeah. When she came home one day and I was just like, you realize that you could make the same amount of money doing like DoorDash and then not bring all the stress and all the homework and all the stuff they don't pay for you to do home. She was like, oh, you're right. maybe it's not worth it. She's like, but I'm not going to DoorDash.
No, she definitely did not want to do that.
My husband teaches 7th grade science. And
God, yes. I would say 7th, 8th grade, you couldn't pay me to do junior high.
Middle school years.
She hated junior high too. They're
the
crazy.
Middle school years, I'm like, oh my God, just get through it. And there are days where he's like, I don't know if we're teaching these kids how to learn, if we're just like prepping them to follow rules in high school or what. But like we use a lot of AI to try and make that stuff more interesting and like, relate to the kids.
That's one of the most like exciting spaces for me. Like being able to customize how you learn based off of how you like to learn.
I love just generating AI posters for him to use. Like there's this scandal right now in the school. They've got some Nutella bandits. So there's some boys that go into the bathroom and smear Nutella on the walls.
Nice.
And like the principal's like, okay.
That's the most middle school thing I've ever heard, actually.
I know. I live for the stories at the end of the day. And he's like, oh, it's like a manhunt now. Like teachers are getting offered gift cards to Taste of Texas if we find the names.
There's bounties out.
Kids are getting offered like homework passes to narc on their buddies and all. And so I like make all these like wanted Nutella bandits AI generated images for him.
That's awesome.
Gotta love it.
Awesome. No, Google.
This is our future.
Yeah. The Notebook LLM product has a bunch of this kind of baked in now, but Google has a separate, I don't remember what it's called, kind of lab thing that they're doing on the education side where it's like, tell me the topic, tell me the grade level, and tell me how you like, do you want a video? Do you want slides? Do you want flashcards? Do you want a presentation? And it just does it. And it's fucking crazy. But I genuinely wish we would have had something like that because I feel like I would have retained a lot more of what we were taught.
Yeah, I mean, it's like interesting.
Right, you got to make it interesting.
Yeah, but like also being forced to teach to the masses, right? Like there is no individualized care here in the public school system.
30 kids, figure it out. Teach them all algebra.
Yeah. Yeah. My husband's like, I don't know if I can talk about watersheds for 3 weeks. Like, what do I do with these kids? They're going to like murder me in my own room.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even like, I mean, I just remember teaching a lesson. It's like the one year I taught algebra, literally every, class, other years I had geometry, different things mixed in where your brain could at least switch. But it's like the 6th time I'm teaching this, I am not like, you get it right. It's, Y and X and it's fine. You're like,
yeah.
Like
he's like super enthusiastic until about lunchtime. And he's like, shit.
Then you get
got 3 more hours of this thing?
Crowd, of middle schoolers.
Yeah. All hyped up on their Nutella.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Nutella. Yeah.
Awesome.
This has been awesome.
You wanted to do the speed round or get anything?
Yeah, why not?
So it sounds like
speed round.
Yeah. Sound like you've got a couple boys in baseball.
Yes.
All right. What's your favorite, you probably don't have a favorite, but what's your favorite baseball facility that they play at? That, like a complex that they play at?
I mean, I love a complex with clean bathrooms, man.
Yeah,
it's a tough find.
Yeah.
Normally.
And like, you can't have the best of both worlds. Like you can't have good parking situations and clean bathrooms. And you also can't have clean bathrooms and also decent food options when you're out there. I mean, I prefer the Baseball USA fields.
Yeah. I mean, forget about those. My daughter's in the softball world, so we never go to Baseball USA, but I'd say ballparks at League City is a pretty good one for us.
Yeah.
Or it used to be called Big League Dreams. They're all like former, like they look like Fenway or Yankee Stadium.
That's awesome.
All that stuff. But then they've got there's like 4 fields and it rolls up and they have like true stands, but then they've got restaurant and like air conditioned and then the bathrooms are actually pretty clean.
Dang.
You can get pitchers of beer.
I mean, I think I'm so like demoralized by how much money I pump into this stuff that I'm like, I don't even pay attention to where I'm at. I'm like living an out of body experience as to
that's where all the
how much money
travel teams,
the
money
industrial
goes.
Youth Sports Complex.
No, that's a very real, terrifying thing.
Yeah. And it's like, it's interesting because my older one, it's like you go to the games, they're playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like my 2nd grader, I need sensory deprivation after one of his games. Like every kid's got like a volume 80 walk-up song where I'm like, I know this fool did not choose Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mom.
And like people are bringing air horns and then they're like screaming at the kids on the field as if the kids can even hear them. And so by the time I get done with that, I'm like,
Yeah.
No, I feel that. My son just started baseball a couple weeks ago, and so we haven't gone to any fields other than the one in Katy, but it's my daughter on the other side is in competitive cheer and has been for 5 years.
God,
and so I see what that is and I hate it, but she loves it, of course. And so I'm like, how do we not do this with you in baseball?
Yeah.
Because I played travel baseball growing up too. And so it's like, but it's way different now than it was when we were growing up.
No, I talked to one of my buddies that I grew up playing with this past weekend at a bachelor party. I was like, dude, if my son decided he didn't want to play baseball, I would not be sad.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and my kids just love to dabble
and everything. I'm just like, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Like my kids are not obsessed. Like we've got a neighbor 2 doors down. He's playing on the Marucci team. That kid has been obsessed and is obsessed with baseball. Like you hear him hitting on the, pole, whatever, at 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning. He loves it.
Yeah.
My kids are always like, yeah, I mean, sign me up. Sounds good.
Well, and then also,
how many friends are on the team?
When they're in 2nd and 3rd and 1st grade, it's like, this is when they learn how to do these things. This isn't when they need to be in hyper competition.
Yeah.
When everyone cries because they lose.
Yeah.
And it's like, you lost a game in a tournament.
Yeah.
That literally means nothing, that no one will remember ever.
Yeah.
So like,
I'm very interested to see the difference. Like my daughter's just starting sports. So we had our first soccer season and it was pretty intense. I mean, she played goalie and the coach was like, yeah, she's kind of the only one that's not scared to get kicked in the teeth. And I'm like, well, it wouldn't be the first time, wouldn't be the last with 2 older brothers. But girls sports are maybe even more intense than what I'm used to with the boys. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. My daughter's, it's pretty crazy, but
we have our first.
She's one of the ones that loves, like we tried to, you don't have to do this. I want to do it. Like, but like my son, I don't think will be like that. And I'm just like, like, if they want to do it, I'll facilitate it, but I'm not going to sit there and be like, you need to play baseball. Like, I don't care. I mean,
when they're this young, like they should be trying all of the sports to see what they like.
Yeah.
That's my take.
I'm pretty much like the world's okayest at just about everything that I do. And like growing up, it's like, yeah, I did cheer, I did dance, I played golf. I just like kind of did whatever I wanted. And now it's like, you need a private coach and, you know, a commitment to a D1 school if you're going to make the high school team to do anything. And like pick one sport because you're definitely not playing soccer and basketball and tennis.
Yeah. That was a nice thing about growing up in Needville. Could do everything.
Yeah.
What was that? Like 3A school? 2A school?
3A.
Nice.
3 sports, band, whatever.
I'm like, Needville still exists, right? It hasn't been like
it's
sequestered into Rosenberg, have it?
It's growing a lot right now. I live out towards there now. I'm in Richmond, but like,
I've got an old coworker and she lives in Needville.
No, it's blowing up. They're building new elementary schools, adding out of the high school, middle school. Like
my oldest cousin played basketball for the Needville Blue Jays. I remember going all the way out there like, are we driving 2 days to go to this basketball game?
I used to work in Needville.
I know.
Before I joined RDS, RDS was in Needville.
This would have been like mid-90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm really glad I don't have that commute anymore. That sucked. It's from the Heights to Needville.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, it was opposite, but it's still a solid hour.
Yeah, you can't. You get to a certain point, you can't shorten it. I mean,
there's no shortening.
Like,
especially once you get off 59, it's just like, okay, 2-lane road.
I'm sure going
you don't get behind a tractor.
No treat though. I mean, like,
what?
I know you said you were opposite, but like going home was probably no treat.
No, going home sucked because it was 610 or the Beltway. Yeah. Which one do you want to sit on for 45 minutes to get 2 miles to I-10?
Yeah. I waffle. Like now I work from home. So there's really no like disconnect. I'm kind of like the kids are getting home. I'm wrapping up my last meeting and my brain's just kind of like dinner, practice.
It never stops.
But so it was kind of nice to have like a commute from downtown occasionally because I could like
an audiobook
decompress,
or music, whatever.
I worked from home for 2 years after COVID, and that was the biggest thing that I missed. That was the time I got to do whatever the hell I wanted, and no one could change the radio or put on K-pop or put on whatever.
Sometimes I would just sit in silence.
Yeah.
Just think about life.
I have thought about like, if I told someone that, would they think that I'm crazy that I just drive in silence in my car in traffic? But
like
I'm so glad.
Psychopath.
Yeah, right. Like, or do I just need silence because literally every other part of my life is loud and stimulating? Yeah.
Yeah.
This has been awesome.
Yeah. Anything else from you? I mean, I
think that's it. We're good on that part.
Cool. Okay. Well, thanks for coming out. I mean,
I
know it was a couple exits down, but
I mean,
I'm glad we can make it happen.
Happy to provide hot takes.
Yeah.
Any day of the week.
We'll have you back for some hot takes in a couple months.
Yeah. We also need some like roundtable type stuff.
We definitely do too. I think that's a good idea.
People on our Slack threads in the company like don't necessarily appreciate all the hot takes I have.
Well, you're thought provoking.
Slack is like it is the passive aggressive like
I think it's
addiction
just
for
any
me.
Text communication is it's so open for interpretation.
Well, and
just
like
a little thumbs up emoji.
Well, like I'm such
or I love like a GIF or a meme or something. I'm
100%.
like, don't talk to me in command lines. Like,
I don't want words.
give me a meme.
Give me
What
a
are we talking about here?
Meme.
How serious
I like
is
my
this?
triple backtick with my code in it.
Oh man. Well, cool. Thank you so much for coming out. This has been great. I'm gonna give a shout out to Rick and the boys. How do I get that on camera, Jacob? Appreciate the swag. Thank you all
Rick
for
and the
sending
boys
that over.
Can send me a hat any day.
Yeah, we're trying to get the spread the love out here, but we'll see y'all next time. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks guys. Thanks Kayla.